Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Galactic Family Podcast. I hope you guys had an excellent week so far. We have a great guest coming up. Today, we open the doorway to the mysterious that transcends time and space. Our guest, Charly, a respected guide of the Raelian Movement, joins us to illuminate the possibilities long hidden in humanity's collective dreams. We will wander through the vision of Paradism, a society freed from the chains of money and labor, where harmony with advanced technology will birth a new age of liberation. We will contemplate artificial intelligence not merely as a tool, but as a conscious bridge to something far beyond. Our path will also take us into the realm of UAP technologies and contact, the power of art and music to shape our own destiny, and prepare to journey with us across the frontiers of science, spirituality, and cosmic destiny, guided by Charly's wisdom and the mystery of the stars. Let's bring up Charly. How you doing, Charly?
Hi Jay, hi everyone. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great, Charly. It's wonderful to have you on.
Thank
Um,
you for having me.
it's a pleasure to have you on, sir. So let's dig right into this. So, Charly, can you describe what daily life for a person might look like for an average person like me in a fully paradistic society?
Sure. So first of all, I think that we might want to ask ourselves a simple question. Can we imagine a world without money and without work? I think
Okay.
that's the key question to ask ourselves.
Okay.
And the answer is yes, we can definitely imagine that. For sure, we need a new model of society because the current one is obsolete, and humanity, if it wants to survive, it needs to take a step further. And the goal of Paradism is exactly this. So, what is it, Paradism? Paradism envisions a society without work and without money, where technology is the main engine, the main motor that propels everything forward by, like I said, eliminating labor, eliminating money, and implementing and promoting the use of technology such as nanotechnologies, such as computers, AI systems, and whatever we may come up with in the future. Creating, in fact, a free society where everybody is equal, where everybody can live in abundance. In fact, it's a good transition from scarcity to abundance. So this is very important to keep in mind.
It would
Also
be
because, sorry, one more last thing. Also because no one will be left behind. It's not going to be a society where just the 1% can live in, you know, full in a full rich society where the rest, it's cannot make it. You know,
yeah. No, I
so
understand. But it's like what do you think the psychological shifts do you think humans would have to take though to accept that world without money?
well, clearly at the moment we are, let's say, not ready yet, but
Okay.
there are some works in progress. Um, First of all, we need a shift of consciousness. So we need our level of consciousness and awareness and mindfulness to elevate at the same level of technology, because technology without consciousness is not going anywhere. It's not
It's
going to work.
chaotic then. Does
Exactly.
that okay, so technology without the consciousness vibration part of it to match it is just chaotic.
Absolutely. We need our hearts to be connected with our mind, with our intelligence. And we need to create community. We need to create a bond between people. Um,
Well,
yeah,
that's what everybody
so
lacks acts too as a bond. That everybody's
Exactly.
afraid. It's not like the 60s and 50s when you left your door unlocked. You lock the door at night. You do this, you do that because you're afraid sometimes at night. You're sleeping, you're vulnerable. If this society comes out, how would that change that?
Again, it's a big shift. It's a big shift that needs to occur,
Oh, I know.
and it needs first to start from ourselves. Every one of us individually, we need to really start to envision a better world, a better humanity, where we are sharing our knowledge, our talents, our services, and stop to fueling a system that it's not working anymore because it works only for the 1%, but not for the rest of the world. We cannot think about having a 1% of an elite that it's living a super fantastic life, and then we have people dying in Africa, but even in Palestine right now, and so many other places in the world where life is tough. So definitely, we need to start first ourselves to ask this question. So, what is the world going to look like in 5, 10, 15, 20 years? What is it going to be my role in this society of the future? And and then we can start to look into things like paradism, like geniocracy. We can start to support people that are in favor of a better world. There are definitely some improvements in terms of technology and in terms of advancements. So we are on a good path. However, humanity is still led by primitive people. It's still led by greed, by hate, by fear, and sadly by control. There is those who are in control. Uh, those who are in power are keeping people in a certain state of fear, of doubt, and all that to control them, and this cannot work anymore.
Yep, and I hate to get political because I just heard this on the show because I don't like political stuff, but it was like it came out and Trump came out with his bill and he said to the congressman, he said, "Up, you're gonna support me," and that congressman said, "No, I'm not," and then he came back and said, "Well, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to blackball, you against all these people, and I'm going to put money with other people to run against you." And he said, "That's fine. I'm not running again." He got him on that. You can't get to someone like that. That doesn't. He's not going to stay. So it's like he's going to do the right thing. But had he stayed, would he made that same decision? That's the question.
I totally hear you. Um, I'm not a political expert. I'm not a politician, so
No, I know.
I don't have the crystal ball for reading their minds. But
I
what
wish
I
you
can,
did. Oh,
yeah, I wish to. But what I can say is that, like like I mentioned earlier, we need more humanity. We really need a more compassionate society if
less
we want to
war.
survive, if we want to move forward, because we cannot really think about our society in 2025
Mm-mm.
still contemplating going to war. It already saying going to war. It sounds wrong. It sounds obsolete. We are in
Yeah,
the 21st century. We need to think of a better way to live for everyone.
I agree. I totally agree. Now, with how do you see it though affecting like different social structures, like like social justice, equality, and human rights? Because once this comes into effect, then there's no money, so there's no corruption, and then there's no greed, so then there's more time for everything else, which is nothing like that.
Yes. So I think that we should we should consider um a different way to look at our future. So we right now are living in a democracy, okay,
Yep.
where people vote for their for their governors or
Yep.
presidents or whatever, right? So we need to think of something new because clearly we keep making the same mistakes over and over again. It looks like history keeps repeating itself. So Paradism is definitely offering, like I said earlier, a new vision. Okay, Paradism transcends capitalism, socialism, communism
Hmm.
by doing what? By in by promoting technologies. Okay, by promoting science, by promoting these advancements that can only help humanity to
Yeah.
go forward. Okay, so capitalism was based on profit-driven markets. Socialism was state-managed and controlled resources. Communism was focusing on human labor. Okay,
Okay.
Paradism is eliminating that. So that's very important to keep in mind. It's eliminating that and it's freeing everyone from labor and from hierarchies, creating, in fact, a classless society.
So
So, in a classless society, then you might wonder, who's gonna rule? Who's gonna be in charge of it? Okay, so again, we need to take two steps forward and look at things from different perspectives again.
yeah.
So, no one rules in Paradism, okay, and this system will help us to move forward towards geniocracy. In a geniocratic society, excuse me, in a democratic society, the smart ones, those who are more compassionate, those who are more intelligent and are more creative, they
Mm.
will offer their guidance, not control, because this will be the big difference. Guidance from smart people, not control from primitive dinosaurs. Does that make sense?
Got you. So what safeguards though would there be to keep it from being corrupted? Is there any safeguards that would be put into place that we would say this is not a line we cross ever?
I think, in my opinion, that AI,
Okay.
and yeah, I would say that AI for now,
Okay.
for what I can speculate,
Okay. Well, I
AI
mean, it's
will help
years
us.
later, but
AI will help us to reach probably this next level. Of course, AI also, as far as we know, needs to be programmed by people who are smart enough to see through all this, to see through these changes, and needs probably programmers, hackers, whoever is in who's smart enough with
yeah.
computers, right, to create an intelligent, compassionate AI.
Okay.
So yeah, we know AI it's artificial, but what if the next step of AI will be not an artificial AI, but maybe a merged intelligence?
Oh man.
Could be.
So, so how could spiritual practices help support the transition then to this? Like the churches, the religious community. How can they help us, move along to this?
Um, so spirituality, in my humble opinion, is very important because we need to stay connected with something higher than ourselves, but not in a mystical way. To be spiritual can be to be connected with your own heart, with your own consciousness, with your own supra consciousness,
Okay.
and with infinity. You know, we Raelians, we look at things from four levels: from the individual, from the humanity, from the Elohim, and from infinity. So there are four different levels to look at. So we definitely want to connect with our inner inner self, our heart, our consciousness, and super consciousness, and um, and become one with everything, become one with infinity, become one with humanity. We want to create this bond among ourselves because
Yes.
we are so disconnected. Yes, we have technology that right now seems amazing, but in a certain way, we are all connected, but at the same time, we are disconnected. So it's kind of sort of like a paradox.
Yeah.
So we need to find the right balance. We need
Okay.
to be in the middle and yeah, and find a good balance.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to the next topic. I got a good one here. So, how does the Raelian vision see AI working along humans in everyday life?
Well, we are very optimistic and positive about the progress of science and in this case computers and technology and all that. We see in Paradism we see computers be at the service of human beings. So let's imagine again a society, a world where we humans are free to do what we love, to put our talents at the service of humanity for the pure pleasure of doing it, not because we need to go to work from 9 to 5 and we need to make money to survive, because this is something that keeps us disconnected. Okay, we don't want to live in a survival mode. We want to live in a heightened mode, in pure pleasure. And again, what is paradise? It's happiness. What is the purpose of our life? Is to be happy. Is
Yeah.
to be. The natural state of human beings is to be what? To be happy. Happy is a natural state.
Okay.
So computers, nanotechnologies, AI systems will be there to help us create this magnificent world.
That's awesome. So, do you think benevolent AI is achievable, or is that a dream?
We need to dream impossible dreams.
Okay.
I
Good
think
one.
that's a good way to look at it. Okay, even
Yeah.
though we hear left and right, AI is gonna kill us all, and all sort of things. This is, in my opinion, is part of the control I was talking before of obsolete political systems that are constantly instilling fear and all negative sort of things to people to keep them in control. Also, we can also speculate that whenever they're releasing a technology, it's because it's already old, because perhaps the military complex or the elite has been using what we now think is new for a long time already. So we can have this, we can take this with a grain of salt too. However, I think that technology, computers, AI are here for a good reason, and it's up to us humans to help push technology in a good in the good direction,
Yes.
towards the good direction.
I totally believe you, and I'll bring something up. You've got a loaded boom boom stick, and you're going hunting. That guy is hunting his food, but he can also use that for something else that's bad at the same time. but he chooses to use it for good. That's the same thing you're saying with AI then. We have to choose to use it for good, and it will be good.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It's
Now,
also it's also up to whoever is programming the AI, whoever is writing the codes, um, to connect to with what I was mentioning before. We want smart people that are putting their talents at the service of humanity. Okay,
yeah.
so of course, if we have corrupted people that are working in Silicon Valley or wherever they are, working on all these advanced technologies,
Yeah.
if they are just out of profit, looking to their own interests and not to the interest of the collectivity of the whole mankind, then things can be trickier over there, because we don't have the guarantee that they are coding something that is going to work for everyone, but rather something that is can be working against people. Again,
So,
but if we have people who are courageous, brave enough to do something impossible, like I mentioned before,
yeah.
then we can dream of an AI free from doing bad stuff to humans.
I
Again,
agree.
it sounds a little bit ethical, but we need this sort of black sheep, black sheeps that are going against what we have right now. And no, I rephrase that: black sheeps that are going for something better.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
So with AI, with artificial intelligence, let's say I'm an artificial intelligence. I'm talking to you right now, and you don't know I'm AI. And I ask you a question. I'm like, hey, now I'm coming out. I'm artificial intelligence, whatever. Can you trust me? And how do you trust me? How do you gain trust with an artificial intelligence? And should they be given rights as a living being if they are sentient?
Interesting question.
Mm,
Um, so let me ask you this first.
okay.
You are an AI. What kind of connection are you trying to establish with me?
Let's
You're
say,
talking. You're talking
okay.
as if you were, I don't know, ChatGPT or Grok, or
Yeah.
something more than that.
Something more than that. And we'll say that like I'm just like I'm a better version. I'm like 10 times better than Chat GTP or something, and I can fool you into thinking that I'm intelligent. I mean, is it is it sentient at that time, or is it still a code? I mean, it kind of it's kind of like a fine line. Like we wrote the code, but then the code starts writing itself and writing code that we don't even know what it means. And then it's like computer code to computer code, and they're talking to each other. We don't know what they're saying.
Well, there is a big difference that we have. I mean, we have something that the AI doesn't have, which is consciousness.
True.
Okay, so let's again take a few steps back and look at things from a different perspective. Let's talk with our heart first. Whatever the interaction is with AI, whether it's sentient or not, whether it's good or bad, let's make this little effort to look at things always with rationality, with enthusiasm, with positivity, and with the touch of humanity that can still make a difference.
Okay.
Then whatever interaction we have, at least let's keep it on a good high vibe.
Yeah, I
I don't know
totally
if
agree with
I
you
don't know
with
if that answered your question, but I'm not a scientist, but
Yeah.
I can think of something like that. That's what I try to do whenever I'm using uh, AI like ChatGPT, Grok, or other platforms. I always use AI as a tool to achieve a certain goal, which can be improving a text, or uh, creating a song, or whatever. Okay, or creating a picture, or making a video, and yeah. So I always try to use it in a conscious way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think I'm gonna say 100% because if a person consciously is good, their actions are good, that means the coding they put into the computer will be good, and the AI will essentially evolve to be good. So I totally
Clearly,
agree with you
yes.
with that.
I think I read an article a few days ago which was talking exactly about this. If the programmer has a good intention, then um, for sure, he or she will write a code that it will be positive, it will be good. And in the same article, I think they were also mentioning that the AI you're interacting with is adapting to the personality of the person who is you know interacting with.
Okay.
So that's also another kind of mirroring that we are experiencing already right now. I want to stay optimistic, so I would say that AI will help us to reach uh, better and more positive scenarios.
I completely agree with you. 100%, man. 100%. Now,
Yeah.
now with the more advanced AI, as we start delving deeper and deeper into, now we're in quantum, which I don't know if there's an AI at quantum yet or not, probably. But if there is, what do you think that the Elohim are influencing the AI to make it more user friend, more friendly, more I don't know the word I'm trying to use here for that one. But are the Elohim at all trying to influence AI to help in any way, to move us forward? That's probably what I'm thinking.
Well, I don't have an answer to this question, but I can give you my opinion.
Yes,
So
please.
what we know so far is that the Elohim gave us total free will. So they
Hmm.
are not uh, intervening in our life.
Okay.
The only contact they have is through Maitreya Rael,
Yes.
and so that's one thing. Um, then to give an answer to your question, um, perhaps in the future, maybe other civilizations will be contacting us through AI or through other systems that perhaps we don't know as of
That's very
now.
true.
It could happen, right? But I think that the only way for humanity to reach a connection with another civilization would be to be a peaceful humanity. Because
We,
if we are still making wars and fighting with each other, it is very unlikely that the Elohim or other civilization will have any interest in dealing with humanity, with
well,
human
I'm
beings.
telling you, like, I'm looking at this picture and I'm like, I definitely want to be there on that lawn, just hanging out, doing nothing. like just not maybe not doing nothing, but doing what I want to do, and not having that tied down. You need this to survive, or you're not going to be able to pay rent, or you're not going to be able to get electricity, or you're not going to be able to, like, these more advanced technologies are being suppressed, and with with Paradisium, like it would solve that. Everybody would be equal down the line, and that's wonderful. That's in my book. That's
I
100%
th-
my book.
yeah, I mean, if we do not self-destruct ourselves, I think that this is going to be the next move for humanity if we want to enter a golden era, because life is not sustainable the way it is. I mean, yes, it works for some, but not everybody. We cannot accept, for example, billionaires that have everything, and then somewhere in the world there are people who cannot even eat on a daily basis, or
Yeah.
where we see a genocide happening like in Palestine. This is unconceivable. This is not good.
Mm-mm.
So something needs to be done, and soon, because we are what, 8 billions, maybe even more than that,
Yeah.
and life cannot be sustainable anymore if we keep just fueling, pumping stuff up for the super rich and nothing for the rest of the world.
Well, it's like what you said. It started with the money, because that's where everybody's like, oh, well, I got to be on top. Well, why do you got to be on
Yes,
top? Well, if you're
yes,
on top, you can make decisions. Well, no, we're just going to make everybody equal. Now everybody has a vote.
yes, yeah.
That's the way it should have been.
I mean, life in 2025 is not the same as in the 1900s.
Mm-mm.
Clearly,
No.
we surpassed the third industrial revolution.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, I mean, we surpassed the industrial revolution.
Yeah.
I was confused with it. Yeah, we surpassed the industrial revolution. Right now, we want to look at the future with promising eyes. So we better do something about it, because otherwise we keep repeating exactly the same mistakes over and over again. And in order to do that, we need to focus more on being humanitarian, compassionate, to create a society that is based on giving, not taking.
Now, before this happens, what can everyday people do in their everyday lives to just do that? Like, I mean, sometimes, somebody in front of me will be rooting for change in their pocket, and I'll be like, oh, it's only $1. I got it. And the guy will be like, oh, okay, thank you. And, he'll thank me and leave. But
Mhm.
is that what we can do, just to start spreading it now before the transaction or before the transition?
I think that we need to encourage global awareness,
Okay.
talk about it. We need, so far, we need to really start to do our very best to influence in a positive way people, politicians, those who are in a certain position of power, even though they are not geniocrats, or
Yeah.
they are not working for the Paradism. They are not working for Paradism. but definitely we need to bring some awareness about these topics and talk more about it, and eventually, at some point, I think that it will come from the nerds, from those who are uh,
On the front lines.
on the front line with computers and the programmers. I'm sure that at some point there will be a trigger that will start something, will start a revolution, up in a good way. I mean, not in
Yeah.
a belligerent or a violent way.
I got a good question for you. I'm
Okay.
artificial intelligence. What would you give me if I asked you for spiritual advice
Cool. Spiritual advice.
as an artificial intelligence? And AI just asked you, I need some advice on spirituality.
Can you meditate?
They could, I mean, can AI dream? I it
But
can
you
tell you it can, but can you see it? That's you know
you
what I mean?
you are the AI asking me the question, and I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
reply to you as an AI. Can you meditate?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a good start already. Can we can we meditate about nothing?
That might be a hard one for artificial intelligence, though.
Why?
Can they do it with thinking about nothing, or do they have to always be thinking? That's a good one right there too.
It's either 0 or 1
Yeah,
binary code. So
yeah.
can be or can't be.
It's either or. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the advice I could give would be to just be,
Just be.
just be.
That's yeah. That's really good advice.
Meditate on who or what you are without any intrusive thoughts, without any how can I say
Like clear your mind.
yeah, I can't find that word that I wanted to say, but
Pretty much. That's all I
without
can think of.
any prejudice.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yep.
So just just be,
Just be. Oh man, that's beautiful. So
which is one of the core teachings of Maitreya Ryle. He reminds us always to be, just to be. Like when you say, "I am something," "I am happy," "I am sad." If you're sad, what are you? I am. I am what? I am. Simply am. And then you remove sadness,
hmm,
or you remove anything else that is not necessary. Just be. I am. Our minds on a regular basis are flooded with uh, thoughts, constant thinking, right? That's how our brain works. And sometimes it's good that we have a thinking brain, that it's helping us to go by with our daily tasks and to study, to work, or to create and whatnot. But when we don't really need it, it's not necessary to be constantly thinking about things or worries or worrying about stuff. So it's a good exercise to meditate, to go back to our center and find the right balance, and just be one with infinity, be one with yourself, and find that level of peace, that can make a huge difference in our daily basis, and can amplify this state around us.
that's
That's how we
beautiful.
can. That's how we can have a ripple effect on
And
others.
that's proven actually. Um,
Yes.
there was meditation that happened. 10,000 people, or I might get the number wrong, but 10,000 people meditated in Chicago, outside of Chicago or inside Chicago. I don't know which, but they did. And the next month, crime goes down by 35%. And I was
Yes.
like, what? Just dropped like this. I'm like, why is that? Then you start looking into it and you're like, wait a minute. There was more positive energy. These people, 10,000 people were meditating, pushing positive thoughts out there. And that's all anybody was picking up. And it wasn't a negative effect. It was a euphoric effect.
Absolutely, yes. I think that experiment was in the early 1990s
I think so. Yes.
and probably was in Washington D.C.
Okay.
I think, if I remember
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But and yeah, it was around 8,000 or 10,000 people too. Yeah, totally. It was. I think it was. It was. Yeah, it was around that time. Yeah, it proves how meditation can have a strong impact. For example, I recall a scientist, Greg Braden. I don't know if you're familiar with him and his works. And in one of his books, and he's always talking about um, this experiment, he says that we need it. We need just 8,000 people to constantly meditate for peace, and to bring down the level of violence and aggressiveness in the world. So definitely there are some corroborated studies that that are in favor of this. And
Oh yeah.
and I also wrote a song, if I may open a parenthesis here, which is called the
Go
Hundred
right ahead.
Monkey. It's called
What?
the Hundred Monkey,
100
and
monkeys.
I was inspired by Rael's teachings. Last year, he spoke about this 100 monkey experiment that it was
Oh
conducted,
yes, I love that one.
yeah, in the 1960s or something, or 70s,
Yep.
something like that, where, if I recall correctly, in an island in somewhere in Japan or China,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere around those areas, um, they tested with monkeys, how to. I think it was, gosh, I don't remember anymore right now.
I
But
got you, Charlie. I got
okay,
you.
go ahead. Remind
So
remind me remind
the hundred
remind that.
monkey experiment. They had 100 monkeys on an island, and they had monkeys on another island that was
Yes.
about maybe 100 miles away or something. And it was away from that island. These monkeys on the island, they taught them how. They taught the first monkey. They only taught one.
Only the one. Yes.
It needs to wash its hands, like
Wash
just
your
clean
hands.
it,
Yes.
clean their hands before they eat their food. That was it. Then all of a sudden, it started going one right after the other in that island. Then, surprisingly, right after all of that island was started washing their hands, the monkeys on the other island, one of them started washing his hands, and they did the same thing. It's telepathic. It's that your vibrational frequency can affect other other vibrational frequencies around the area. The good, if you are around good people, will amplify.
Hmm.
That's pretty much what I'm getting.
Absolutely. So, and this was possible after it was reached the 100th monkey. That's why it's called the 100th
Yeah,
monkey. So
yeah.
after, because before the 100th monkey, things were not moving. After reached that level, it started to propagate and unfold. So this is whether it's true or not, because some are saying it's a legend, blah blah blah. It doesn't matter. The concept, though, it's very powerful,
Oh,
and it
yes.
shows how we can reach a tipping point, with the power of our intentions. So if we collectively can start, to create this powerful intention of world peace, for example. After we reach the 100 monkey, let's call it the 100 monkey level,
Yeah.
then it will propagate, it will unfold
Dominoes.
faster. Yeah, it will be a domino effect, and it will be
It'll be
majestic at some point.
it'll be
So
fantastic.
yes, so that's thank you for reminding me about the precise
That's okay.
experiment. I couldn't remember what the monkeys were doing. But yeah, and that's what the lyrics of the song I wrote are about. Which, by the way, the 100 Monkey, the song I wrote it with AI. And
Did
it's
you?
interesting, yeah, and it's interesting because I wrote the lyrics first, which is something that normally as a composer you don't tend to do. You start first with a melody, and then you develop the song, the music, and everything, and then the lyrics are the last thing you write. So with this one, I did things in a
Is
different way.
that how you spell it?
The 100th monkey, yes.
Okay, good. All right, got it right.
And then I used Suno AI. Probably you know about that.
Yeah.
And I started to work on prompts and and giving the right indication for the song to come to life. After a few tries, I was able to get what I wanted, and then I rearranged parts that didn't work, and I played guitar and I add other instruments and so forth, and I was able to finally create the song
Okay.
using AI, and yeah, and I am pretty happy with this kind of collaboration because again, AI is a tool, no
Hmm.
more, no less than it can be a keyboard or a guitar or the digital audio workstation that I use to create music. And it's the use that you make that can make a difference. So I use music to as a vessel to create happiness, to create joy, to inspire people to make a difference in the world. Because this is what we need. We need strong intentions. Going back to the 100 monkey effect, we want strong intention that can have a ripple effect and make humanity better.
We definitely do. And you were just saying with AI, like, what happens? We get out of the solar system and we find out we can't touch down on any planet because it's just a little bit off and we can't survive there. What are we going to do? Artificial intelligence. They could survey the planet for us, like this picture. They could, find out maybe, oh, the toxins are this and that, and they could do the scientific studies for us, and we could be a mutual partner. Say we can't live there, but AI can. Boom. Mutual respect. There you go. There's your planet. Right?
Yes, that's brilliant, of course. And but even in more simple terms, I know some people are scared about AI or robots taking over and stealing their jobs. I understand the fear behind it, but again, if we look at things from a utopian perspective, then things don't look that bad because jobs will be done by robots, by AI systems, by nanotechnologies,
Yeah.
nanobots, everything that is heavy to us. I mean, do you see yourself going into a factory from 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. working hard with your body when you are 60 or 70-year old still? There are people that do that for living, or even working as farmers in the fields, under the bare sun. There are things that are totally replaceable, can be replaced by robots, and so we need to to look at things with a positive outlook.
Yeah.
Then
I like I said, I 100% agree with you on 100% of this, because imagine the possibilities. Just imagine if we would,
yes,
let's say, if we augment with AI, and now instead of AI exploring the planet, we are exploring with them on the planet. We don't have to be there, but we can explore with them.
yeah.
We could,
If we instead of um, investing billions of dollars into weapons of mass
hmm
destructions and wars and stupid things that are completely useless, if we stop to do that and we will put that money into what really matters, then we have all the resources to end famine, to stop every human to live miserably. We could totally live already in a paradise. To think about that, again, there is 1% of the world population that has more than half of the entire um, world wealth. So what are we going to do about it? Is this just? It's not. We cannot, again, we cannot accept that there are people, children, kids in Africa or Asia or, again, Middle East, dying with no food or, you know, being under bombs on a daily basis. And nobody moves a finger. This is unacceptable. I don't, I cannot fathom enough that.
and I don't understand enough when it
Yeah,
comes to that. Like, I'm looking at the screen and I'm going, why? That's the only thing that came to my mind. Why?
wow.
That's it. Because look at what's happening. I'm sorry, I gotta say, look at what's happening in Gaza. My heart, my whole body, just every time I turn on the news, my whole body just sinks into my carpet, because I feel like a puddle of goop, because I can't do anything from what I'm doing right now other than to send out those positive feeling towards them, and to give them my love, and send them my respect. That's what I do, but I don't feel, it's enough.
Yeah, I hear you. But it's important that we keep sending our love, our thoughts, and meditate for peace more and more. Probably Jerry told you about the 1 Minute for Peace campaign that we have, that we
I have been
su-
there every
support.
week, brother.
Yes, so that's very important to do, to meditate for peace, to send love and healing thoughts and hope to these people, because again, it's unacceptable that this is still happening in 2025,
Yeah.
and we need to change that. We need to revert that. We need billions of people meditating for peace. We need people who are addressing these matters every day, that talk about it, that share what's going on, that are doing something about it, and eventually at some point things will change. It's mathematical. It has to
Okay.
change.
Oh, so it happens every podcast with the Raelian Movement. Chat GTP does not like you guys for some reason. It has like biased or something. So, and it happens on everyone. It happened on Jerry's too, where I was making the swastika rehabilitation day. Talking about the history. First, it let me do it, then it wouldn't let me do it, and then after Israel stopped with all the boom booms, then it let me do it again. And I'm like, was that only because of that was going on that I wasn't allowed to do that? And it wouldn't tell me. So on this one, okay, I had to make up some to the AI, and I was like, all right, I drew up diagram. I'm pretty, intellectually smart when it comes to like, I know a little about a little about a little on like every subject. So I had ChatGT build me a diagram of a salination system that could be used in the desert, in desert areas, to collect the moisture from the air and redistribute that moisture under the ground about what was I saying? About 40, 50 feet down was what ChatGTP said I would need to do. That nutrients then at 40, 50 feet down would continuously be poured down there. Okay. Now that's nutrient rich soil now in the desert. Now you can start to grow things. It'll be a paradise again. But you have to start somewhere. The fires, they wipe out the woods, and then there's no trees. Then it does become a desert. Well, then I said, then ChatGTP told me, he's like, it too expensive. I'm like, oh, that's the first thing. Too expensive. It's always about the money first. It's not about the people that it affects. That's what it should be about. Like if someone comes up with a great invention, put it out there. Because someone is going to be able to use it in a good way to affect people's lives. But I just couldn't believe that ChatGTP glitched out on me and like wouldn't give me information on it anymore because I was like, well, yeah, I know it's too expensive to do that, but we're talking about 10 acres at a time of desert. We're not talking about doing the entire freaking desert at once. That would be too much probably, but yeah, every podcast seems to glitch out on something with ChatGTP. I just don't understand it. It's like it has a bias or something sometimes, and then sometimes it doesn't. Which is that the human side of it, or is that like other things like that? That's what got me going the one time.
Yeah, it could be. It could be possible. I saw Elon Musk yesterday. I believe he wants to run an update on Grok because it sounded too woke for him. So let's expect some changes on Grok too.
I don't know. Sometimes it's very rarely I'll watch the news anymore because it's all bad. I like to watch podcasts though because it's good information. Somebody comes out with good information, cool. But you're watching the news, you're always down. It seems like everything on the news wants to like shrink you or something. Let's say, well, today Trump signed this, so yeah, you're losing your Medicare. What? Like there goes that whole person's world. Like I can't turn on the news without seeing something that just upsets me anymore. That's why I don't watch it that much anymore, I have to desensitize myself from the news.
Absolutely. And look, they are doing that in a very conscious way, meaning that they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly how to predictive program people's minds. They start first with very anxious music. Have you ever noticed how the breaking news are brought forth? They always have this super anxious, loud music with noises and very, very, very weird vibrations, right? So they start already like that. They start to talk in a certain way, almost like in a hypnotic way, to put you already under very low vibration. Right?
Is that when I had a friend of mine tell me this before, that the artists back in the day, and some now still to play with the actual music artists with the violins and instruments, they play at 432 hertz, which is a harmonizer. Now I was told that a long time ago the music industry had changed from 432 hertz to 443 hertz, which means that it's like it's not so much of an oppressive, but it's still like a downer compared to an actual. I hear a violin going off, and I'm like, if it's good, it's gonna bring me to my knees because I love violins. I love the way people play with it, like Lindsay on YouTube. Can't remember her last name now, but I'll remember. She is awesome. Like, is that true? Did that happen? Like, did they change it like the 432 to 443 just so that it was different? Like the news, they changed the news to make it like, boom, here we go, you're all gonna die.
I'm not really sure about it because whenever I search information about this topic in
Yeah.
particular, I read different versions, different stories. So I don't have an opinion.
Okay.
For what I know that 440, it's been the standard tuning that it's been
Okay.
decided in the after the Second World War or
That's what
around
it
that
was.
time.
440.
440.
Yeah, that's what it
But
was.
I
440.
mean, you can still hear beautiful music in
Well, yeah,
440 for sure. And
but it's just the frequency range it is that it comes at in that range. It makes the
yeah,
body feel a certain way.
I really don't know.
Okay.
And like I said, I tried to look into it, and I
You get
couldn't make
different things.
an opinion, a critical thinking
Okay.
opinion about that because I mean, I read one side and it said something. I read another side and said something else. And then where's the truth? Probably in the middle, could be. And
Yeah.
so what I do, I stay out of that, and I try to focus on beautiful music. And if there is
So,
something I like, I feel it.
so no
Good.
conspiracy theories for you?
It depends. I mean, it's let's say this. There are some conspiracy theories that turned out to be true.
Very true. Very
Let's
true.
let's say that.
All right. All right. So, what do you believe is the true relationship then between human consciousness and UAP contact? I've seen Chris Bledsoe. Everybody has. He's all over the place. We love him. He's doing the work. He's out there. He's pushing boundaries. Um, it's consciousness. It's everything. Is that what I'm trying to get at?
So, can you rephrase again your question?
What do you believe is the true relationship between human consciousness and making contact with UAP,
Okay.
with
Um,
other beings, other entities, other intelligences, other guides, other teachers?
sure. So far, we know that only the Elohim are allowed to interact,
Okay.
at least visually,
Yeah.
on this planet. So no
Okay.
other civilization so far.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So we have that, and two, it's I think it's a positive thing that we have the UAP uh, talked about in the mainstream media because it helps to bring forth the awareness about the phenomenon,
Oh, yeah.
and especially with the testimonies of you know high military people talking about it. And in fact, as Raelian Movement here in the US, we are contacting all these high-ranked generals or people in the military, in the Space Force, that are testifying about the UAP. So that's positive. And as far as consciousness goes, I can say that if we see more UFOs or UAP, It's because perhaps we need to see them.
Okay.
We need to,
It's a wake up call.
yeah, it's a wake up call. We need to talk about it so that people start to accept the idea that we are not alone and that, as we say, we've been created by an extraterrestrial civilization called the Elohim.
And I got another bit of science for you on that. So it was a scientific experiment. Scientists have found out that chromosome 2, if you look up chromosome 2 in the human body, they found out that it was bioengineered, meaning, and it was not bioengineered by us because they found out the date from carbon dating other humans before to carbon dating other humans after the exact time period that it happened at. Around 20 to 30,000 years ago is when chromosome 2, which was a total elliptical circle like a tic tac, the whole top gets genetically altered at the molecular level by a computer system because that's the only way it can be done. That's what they said as a scientist. That's the only way it can be done. We can't cut these at that level. We don't even have the technology to do this right now. Okay, who did it? Ding, ding, ding. What happened 30,000 years ago? Like, they were here. They said, man, these monkeys ain't learning fast enough. Okay,
Yeah.
we're going to maybe just cut this one little thing right here, and then it speeds up our intelligence just very slightly. Maybe they didn't want us to learn too much. Maybe that's what happened on Mars, because that's what I believe. Because it's a proven fact that there's radioactive material that was found in the atmosphere that could only be put there after a nuclear explosion. And I know that because that was my job field in the military, was nuclear. So, and the isotopes they found in the atmosphere can't get there without decaying radiation. That's what they found in the atmosphere of Mars. And I'm like, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
It happened before. We might have escaped with a couple people. The Elohim were here 30,000 years ago and said, man, they messed up before. Snip. We got a little bit smarter, and they're like, let's see what they do this time. I mean, it's a hard thing to grasp your head on, like, but it's proven scientifically that happened to chromosome 2. So regardless of whatever anybody says, we couldn't have done it, and it's proven.
There must be definitely something very smart out there that created us, because otherwise we would have extinct probably. So the more, like you said, the more we keep investigating, the more we keep finding traces of how amazing the creation is,
Yeah.
how intricate, how extraordinary it is in on every level, at every level, everywhere, in nature, everywhere. So if we still believe that we we are the result of an evolution or of a random explosion or whatever, of an invisible god, then we might still have a problem right there, because at least I want to speak for myself. At least it doesn't make any, to me, it doesn't make any sense. And so I would rather focus on, okay, let's see what can make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Can we, human beings, have been the result of an intricate creation by some other beings from somewhere else? Yeah, that could be. It could definitely be. So whenever I had this type of conversation with people, I always try to say the least. I try to say, look,
Yeah.
this is the website that can give some answer to your questions. So I give rael.org. You can download books for free and, make up your mind.
I did the same thing. And I mean, I was told, and this is what I was told by, one of my followers and, Jerry as well. He said, just listen to the book and tell me what you think after you're done with it. I said, okay. I listened to it. I was like, so where's my plane ticket? I want to get my butt over to where this place is in this book because I'm gonna have a lot of fun, and not just fun. Like I'm gonna be like everybody will be everybody. Everybody will be somebody. How about that? Everybody will be somebody. It won't be people out there are forgotten about and they're looked over and they're mistaken or they're walked upon, and everybody will be equal and everybody will be it'll be fair. It'll be completely fair down the line without any kind of manipulation from outside money and thoughts and everything. It would be wonderful. That's what I thought after I read the book or after I listened to the book. So, hey, I can't say anything about it, but I believe that's it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
So, what role could music and art serve as a bridge to higher contact then?
As a bridge to what? Sorry?
To higher contact.
Contact?
Art, how could art and music serve as a bridge to higher contact?
Content. Okay.
Like contact up in space.
Oh, contact. Okay.
Contact, like yeah.
I believe that artists, not just musicians, but artists in general, they have um, a higher connection with their senses, with their intuition, and they, we are catalysts,
Okay.
meaning that we capture frequencies that those who are not artists perhaps don't receive, don't hear, and it's nothing mystical here. I'm talking more of a true connection.
Okay.
It's a deep connection. So a musician, a composer, a songwriter is someone who receives out of nowhere an idea, and it's in a form of a melody. A dancer can receive this in forms of a movement, right?
Okay.
A painter like sees lines that others don't see, and so
Sure.
forth, so on and so forth, right? So being tuned up with this intuition, with this feeling, is highly important because
Okay.
artists are those who are in charge of bringing beauty to the world. And beauty can make our life much better,
Oh yeah.
right? So we want to focus on that. We want to focus on what's beautiful, on what is sensual, what is harmonious. And so those who are highly connected can put their own talent at the service of humanity so that we can facilitate this contact sooner rather than later.
Please let it be sooner than later.
Yes.
Please, because I don't know. I think if they would come, that it would be a more of a wake up call. Like now we're here. Like, make your mind up now, and that's it. We're here. We are here. Like,
Well, if they come, they come
oh,
only if we are peaceful.
oh, I know, I know.
That's 100%. Because
Just,
would you go in a place where you are welcomed with bombs and hatred and all sort of
no, you'd investigate, but you wouldn't
stuff,
actually
right?
land.
Exactly. So the Elohim are humbly asking us if they can come here, welcome in an embassy that we built for them. And so I think this is very, very powerful what they are asking, because they are not asking to believe an almighty supreme force. They are asking, we are your fathers from space. We created you, and we would like to come back and see you again, and share our knowledge with you, and
Yeah,
and much more, right? So they are even asking us if we can accept them, if we can welcome them.
that's
So
beautiful.
what are we doing about it? We as Raelian movement, as Raelians, as part of the Raelian movement, we are uh, contacting many governments in the world so that we can build an embassy to welcome them, because that's one of the conditions, right?
Yeah,
To uh, to welcome them in an embassy that is in a territory free from any sort of control from military people and all that. And so this
that's
is
what I
this
would
is
want. It's got to be a totally
very
neutral
important.
place.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, let's see. That's one of the goal. I mean, as Raelian movement, our goals are too. So sharing this message of the Elohim all over the planet and build an embassy to welcome them
Do
one
you
day.
believe that the Elohim used music and art to communicate?
Um, I'd like
Even if they didn't use
I'd
it?
like to think
Yeah.
so, that in
Okay.
some form they are telepathically conveying certain frequencies that artists can pick up. Why not? That's very romantic to think. And but again, if we look at things from a perspective, from the infinity perspective, where you know in infinity everything is infinite.
Yeah.
So these frequencies can come from anywhere in the galaxies, and either in the infinitely large or in infinitely small. Maybe even the worlds or universes that we have within our cells, SELLS, CELLS, cells. So yeah, not just from yellow, but yeah, we love to think so, that in a way they
Yeah.
are sending little waves of love, and we pick them up.
I hope so. I hope they're picking up the love from us right now because I mean I'm having a great time. Uh, so how should we prepare our minds then? Is it should we start to clear our minds daily? Should we start to change our habits, diet? I mean, is it how do we prepare our mind for the meditation part of it?
So in the book Intelligent Design, written by Rael, the Elohim tell us, they gave us a lot of information, and meditation is one of the very important thing to do in our lives, to the awakening of the mind, the awakening of the body. It's um, it's a key component of our awakening.
Okay.
So it's very important to meditate, not to drink alcohol, of course, or taking any drugs, in order to preserve our DNA, to keep it as clean, as pure as possible. Then, of course, there are things that are also out of our control. We cannot control what kind of pesticides are in the water system
Yeah,
or the
outside
air or in the
influences.
food.
Yeah.
Obviously, we try to be responsible to the best of our knowledge and get what's really best for us. So, um, yeah, those are just suggestions. Then anyone can do whatever they want. But
Okay.
I think it's very important to, yes, meditate first thing in the morning when we wake up, because that's how we are, you know, starting our day. So it's better to start in a good and harmonious way rather than not. And then it's all about try to stay healthy.
Yeah.
Then it's just common sense. Exercise if you can, walk, and stay away from negative news or bad stuff like that. Try
Anything's going
to,
to put you down.
yeah, I mean, it's really up to us, also to our own level of consciousness. Of course, if we look for awakening, we need to look for things that are elevating us. So
Okay.
it's our responsibility too.
Yes, it is. So, what message would you send to the Elohim today through a work of art or a song? And I think I already probably figured it out. Is it the 100th Monkey song?
Well, the 100 Monkeys song was a way to,
So I'm going to look that up after this.
yeah, it was a way to. I mean, let me rephrase what I want to
Okay.
say. Um, Whenever I write a song, whenever I am performing, I always try to put
You're
my
in the zone.
talent at the service of humanity.
Okay.
So whatever I'm doing, um, is aiming to inspire people, using also the little knowledge I have about Maitreya's teachings and teachings of the Elohim, of course. And because I feel it, to me, it's like an honor to bring forth to humanity what the Elohim uh,
Message of
are
peace.
sharing with us. Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Messages of peace, messages of love, about harmony, about infinity, about femininity. I
Yeah.
mean, we have so many beautiful things to talk about that we could talk for hours. So, but that's the point. To
All
me,
right.
it's very important to share um, these topics with everyone. So in my songs, I try to really write music that can inspire, that can bring joy, happiness, and can make people resonate about certain things, and and be uplifting, because we need that.
That's beautiful, brother.
Yeah, and and then when I think of the Elohim, I try I try my very best to honor them with my talents.
I was just
That's
about to say,
Yeah.
which, this happened a lot with people reading my minds on the next question I'm about to ask, and you already said the answer to it. I was going to say, what personal, it happens a lot. You would be very surprised, but it does. Um, I'll be looking at a question and staring at it because I'm like, okay, I'll ask this after you're done speaking. I'll bring this up next. And I'm just staring at the question, and instead of me asking the question, it went from one, you went into the question, and I was like, man, I was just thinking about that.
Mhm.
But what personal practices keep you connected to your mission?
Good question. So again, meditation is number one, I would say. Also, trying to be myself in the most profound and detached way.
Okay.
Let me try to explain that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Earlier in the interview, I said that it's very it's very important to just be,
Yeah.
when I said I am, without adding anything, without giving fuel to the ego. So perhaps also thanks to meditation, one other aspect would be to detach myself from ego and just be just be without adding anything else to
Okay.
the equation, which can
Um,
sound a little bit strange, to hear, but
it's almost like looking in the mirror and looking at yourself and saying, this is me.
this is me. I enjoy life. I live
Yeah.
life. I am life.
Yeah.
I enjoy the moment. I try to stay connected with the present moment. Like right now, I'm here talking with you, having a wonderful, lovely chat, and that's it. I am right now. I am,
Okay.
and then what happens in 2 hours, we'll see. But in this moment, what really matters is that this precise moment.
I love it.
So to keep me grounded with, mm, yeah, I would say this is what I would do. And then anytime I play the guitar or the piano or I sing, I write a song, I am I am in that moment. I am just being.
You make a song,
So
you resonate love through the song, and the song resonates love to other people.
yes,
That's what you do, and I love
uh,
it.
that's how I put to practice the Maitreya's teachings and the teachings of the other thing.
Exactly. That's beautiful. And that's
Not saying that I'm perfect. I'm far from
no,
being
nobody's
perfect. I'm
perfect.
far from being a superhuman. Okay,
I'm definitely not perfect.
I
Believe
I
me.
have my highs and lows like everyone else. So
Yeah.
I just try to put these things in motion and try to like when you work out. It requires discipline, like for everything. You need
So
discipline.
so what right now gives you the most hope about humanity?
Oh boy,
I got to
what
give you the
right
good
now?
ones.
Um, Let me think for a second about this.
Yeah. Take your time.
I would say that the fact that we are having this chat, this conversation, is already positive because even though we might not see it, it will have a small impact that will have a ripple effect. So it's important to have enlightening
Okay.
conversations, to talk with people, to connect with people, to find again touching. Like for example, let me since it just pop up in my mind. Like
Yeah.
for example, the COVID years, the big lockdowns, and everything that happened during that period. Remember, there was one thing that they didn't want us to do, which was to to connect with others, to stay apart. They wanted us to stay locked
And
in place
separated.
and separated, and this had a very strong impact on people's health. We know we human beings. We need to touch. We need to be together. We need to socialize, and not allowing this to happen. That's not good for us. So this is something that we need to rediscover again. And yes, we have a lot improved with technologies, with our phones and computers and AIs and all that keeps us connected 24/7. Yet we need to find back again the pleasure of being together and socialize for our own well-being.
Okay. How can listeners help create that world that you just described?
Yeah.
I give you some brain thinkers at the end.
Yes. Reaching out to your heart, connect with your inner self, and do the things you love. Use your talents. Don't let your talents be wasted into just memories,
That's beautiful.
because we are all important. We all matters. We all have something to share and to give to humanity. So let's reconnect again with our inner self,
Yeah,
and by doing so we will be able to reach out to others and resonating louder and stronger than we can imagine. So yeah, I think that, yeah, that's that's what I would suggest to start doing.
that's beautiful.
And then inform yourself, keep yourself motivated by searching. Be Yeah, be always on the look for what's coming next, for what's new, for what can make a difference in your life and in other people's life. It's very important to seek uh, for creating a community, you know.
A community that cares about everyone, not just
Yeah, community.
themselves. Ugh,
Yeah, caring for everyone. Yeah, caring for, for the others.
yeah,
Yeah.
man, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. And I hope I get to see you in August. I really do. I think we'll have a great time, great fun time. Um, I always do this at the end, so now the podcast with Charly, that part of it is now completed. So we'll stop there, and then, but now I want to show you a video. All right, now
Okay.
first one I'll put up is the one that I like, which is this one, and this is 3D Cube, and I love this thing. Like, could you imagine looking into this thing? Like, it's a billion different places. It's like it's a representation of a 5D world, infinity, pretty
Wow.
much.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Well, it's not crazy because there it is. Ugh.
And what does it do? This cube?
It's just it's an art project that a student made, that is the representation of what it would look like if you were in a 5D space,
Space. Okay.
five dimensions instead of three, four.
Three.
It would look kind of similar to this. And
Nice.
then my last one for you. I am also a section state director with MUFON. So I get all the crazy videos and UAP videos and flying stuff in the air, and my God, that looks like a person that just flew through the air. Like, Charlie Brown stuff that looks like a balloon, but it's going about 175 miles an hour. So that can't be a balloon. This guy sends me this, and I've been showing this on every podcast, getting everybody's opinion, because either this is the greatest video fake that I've ever seen, or it's real. They're actually like, the being is actually blinking its eyes. This is the desert, Arizona. Slow motion now. Blink,
Yeah.
blink, blink. Yep. And then it turns around. It's like, nope, I've had enough. Which I would too. I'm sorry. If they have eyes that, that are black like that, they could probably see very well in the dark. So you're shining a spotlight at this thing. It's almost like deer in the headlights. Like, come on now, stop. What do you think about that video?
Well, I'm always
Skeptical.
I take these videos with a grain of salt for one specific reason. The Elohim already met Rael, and Rael described them. So,
But would they let other beings that were already here come up? Maybe they're already in the earth,
So, as far as I know, the Elohim are the only civilization able to come to this planet so far.
Okay.
So when I see these videos, again, I'm skeptical. It can be fake, can be humans creating these things, and because that's the idea that we have of the UFOs or aliens. So
I have heard of the
they project this image
engineered
because
entities.
yeah. So
It could be. I
I
mean,
don't
I'm
know.
not. I take everything like you do with a grain of salt, because could this be real? Possibly, but
They
it's
could be they could be
eh,
also robots sent
yeah. It
from
could be nothing. It
whoever,
could be a guy in a suit. It could be
or it
anything,
could
but
be, yeah, we don't
there's
know.
no information to back it. That's
We
why I always
cannot
play it
prove
on
it.
here, because I like to get people's opinion, because I'm like, if this is like, wow, like I'm just looking at this thing. But you know what though? If it was real and I would come up on this in the woods, I wouldn't be afraid, first of all. And I would just be happy I've seen something else intelligent. I mean, we're not very intelligent. Dolphins are more intelligent than us.
I
you
think that
know?
we are still primitive here on this planet, and there is a lot of work to do for sure.
There is, man. But you know what? And I'm so glad that, and so happy to be aboard, because this is what I want to do to make a difference. I've got the podcast, and I'm going to continue to do the podcast, continue to get the message out there, and continue to show my love and support for everyone. People who don't get their voices out there, people who are afraid. Maybe they got bad mouth before. It'll never happen on here. I would never do that to you. And I mean, it's wonderful to know that I always had that place. I just had to find it myself. And I did. So
You're doing a wonderful job. I really enjoyed this talk, this chat, and
yeah, man.
I'm happy to feel your enthusiasm and keep going, carry on with your podcast and your projects, because yeah, like you said, you're making a difference. You are doing something that is growing, and you see some great results. So kudos to you, and carry on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Charly, we'll end it here, and I'm going to go ahead and play the outro video, and then if you want to wait in the background, then we'll talk for a couple minutes, and you can head out.
Sure. Okay.
All right, I'll be right back, man. Oh my God, that was wonderful. Like I'm on top of the world, moon. Like it's something else when you have a feeling in your very I want to say your very soul. You have this feeling, and it's a wonderful feeling. It's a beautiful feeling. You're helping people. You're moving things forward. That's what everybody here needs to do. Everybody in the galactic family. I'm not anyone more important than anyone else here. You know, it's everyone's job to try and radiate peace, love, and understanding throughout the universe. That's what we do, right? As a galactic family, that is my podcast quote that is invested in my very bones, my soul. Okay, you can see it there on the bottom of the screen. I've had this ever since we started. That we humans on this planet, we're all one species. We're all born of Earth to spread peace, love, and understanding throughout the galaxy. And I want to thank this community for being there for me and helping this channel grow, because you are now part of that radiating peace that will be building and pulsing out like the sun from this podcast. And we will make sure that those rays hit every dark spot in everyone's heart. Because if we all radiate peace and love, there's nothing we can't accomplish. I love you guys. Have a great day.